On this episode, GMC and other automakers will build 30,000 electrical chargers. Also, FBI raid on the Staten Island Target alleged robbery ring. That and more. Chris Talk starts right now. Let's get into it. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Chris Talks. I am your host with the most, Chris Talks. Alright, folks, let's get into these stories. Let's check these stories out. Alright, so let's pull them up. Again, welcome, everybody. Okay, so let's check out these stories. These are our top stories right now. But before we get into those, I want to thank all my listeners and everybody, all my viewers and subscribers. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this episode of Chris Talks. So, GMC and other automakers will build 30,000 vehicle chargers. I know some of y'all sitting there like, that's not a big deal, but what will a vehicle chargers do for you in your neighborhood? And I mean, let's be real, which neighborhood do they intend on putting these in? Right? Let's be real. Alright, let's let my AI take over. Let's hit this story. Hit that story. Let's get there.
7 major automakers announced a plan Wednesday to nearly double the number of fast chargers in the United States in an effort to address one of the main reasons that people hesitate to buy electric cars. The carmakers BMW Group, General Motors, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, Mercedes-Benz Group and Stellantis will initially invest at least $1 billion in a joint venture that will build 30,000 charging ports on major highways and other locations in the United States and Canada. The United States and Canada have about 36,000 fast chargers, those that can replenish a drained battery in 10 to 30 minutes. In some sparsely populated areas, such chargers can be hundreds of miles apart. Surveys show that fear about not being able to find a charger during longer journeys is a major reason that some car buyers are reluctant to buy electric vehicles. Sales of electric vehicles have risen quickly in the United States, but there are signs that demand is softening. As a result, Tesla, Ford and other carmakers have cut prices in recent months and are offering incentives. The chargers installed by the joint venture will have plugs designed for the connections used by most carmakers other than Tesla, as well as the standard developed by Tesla that Ford, GM and other companies have said they intend to switch to in 2025. The 7 automakers plan to formalize the joint venture and announce its name by the end of the year, said Chris Martin, a Honda spokesperson. The first chargers will begin operating around the middle of 2024. He said, with all 30,000 in place by the end of the decade. The joint venture is open to adding other partners. He said, among major automakers, Ford was a notable absence from the announcement Wednesday. The partnership also does not include Volkswagen. The company is a majority shareholder of Electrify America, one of the largest fast charging providers. Most electric vehicle owners charge at home and rarely need to use public chargers. But fast chargers are important for longer trips. Fear of not being able to find one is a major psychological impediment for many would-be electric car buyers.
And yeah, it will be. It would be for these electric car buyers. So a lot of y'all people who own electric cars, let me tell y'all something. And to all my gas guzzling friends, because there are some gas guzzlers out there, and there are some people who are switching to electronic cars. I will say this. When we talk about the major, and me myself, I am a car person, so when we talk about these major groups such as BMW, Honda, Hyundai, I think another group was Mercedes Benz. These are for y'all non-car goers. Let me tell you something. These are how do I say, enterprises that have been out since at least the 1960s and 70s. These are still corporations that started then and they exist now. They have done major things as far as the auto industry is concerned, as well as Tesla. Like Tesla, I'm not going to take from Tesla what they have done and what they have accomplished, because they have accomplished a lot. And I'm just saying, for those who know cars, to my listeners who know cars, you know that this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It has come far from when cars were created in the 1960s. This has elevated beyond what anybody could possibly think. I mean, this guy, he done sent spaceships into space. Elon Musk, and now he is the closest, if anybody, the closest. And he's already produced electric cars, but he is the closest to what you see on TV, what you see in these movies, as far as Fifth Element and the hovering cars. What was this movie? Judge Dredd. Things like that. This guy is the closest to that. Closest. And I will say, these corporations coming together to make a deal like this is a major thing. So, people, y'all gotta get ready. Get ready, because these corporations are coming together to make a bigger corporation. I mean, I don't want to say too much. Yeah, I know I don't want to say too much to go in too much into it, because they already cut us off before. We ain't trying to get cut off again. But if you can understand what I'm saying, you know. And this story, it brings us to where? To New York. Oh, this is New York. They plan to build these 30,000 electric vehicle chargers in New York City. That's crazy. Because the traffic in New York is crazy. So this is something, and I'm a New Yorker, so this is something I would definitely, I'm definitely prepared to see happen, and how it goes on, how it works out. Because I mean, come on, they did it with the bikes. They did it with the Citibank bikes. For those, my listeners who are New Yorkers, yeah, I know they did it with the Citibank bikes, and they had charges in ports all over. They had a non-melanin and a group of melanin men arguing over one of these electrical bikes. But this is the question, and this is what I pose to all my listeners. This is the question that I have for you. Okay? And it has been, it has been talked about on other social media platforms. I'm not going to announce those platforms, but it has been talked about. But when AI takes over and it's controlling all these different type of things. When this type of, and we all know, when it comes to electronical stuff, EMP, if there was an EMP blast, what would happen to your Tesla then? I'm just being honest, and there's some people that ask me that question. Now I'm asking my audience: if an EMP blast hit, what would happen to your Tesla then? How good is your Tesla at that point when all it works off is that type of function? How good is it to you at that point? So I'm just saying, when you, to those listeners, when you buy these electronic cars, just be careful. Just because you have an amount of, what we got? Okay, let me put this on the big screen real quick. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 different groups coming together to build these cars, which can be taken out by EMPs. We've already developed EMPs. So before you go electric, I'm just saying, think about it. Be careful. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, think about it. Be careful. That's my view, and that's my opinion on that topic here. Yes, thank you so much. Let's pay these bills. All right, listen, folks. If you like this content and want to hear more of it, all the links and everything are right there on your screen. Tune into our Facebook page. I mean, this particular episode will be on YouTube, right? Yeah, this particular episode will be on YouTube. You can check that out at Chris Talks 11-90. Also, we post and promote positive and motivational content on our Facebook page. Also, if you're doing something, and I'm just saying, say rubber bands, whatever. If you're starting out with any type of product and you want us to promote your product on our page, you could DM me and we'll talk about that. Okay? Let's get into thank you. Let's get into this next story. Okay? This next story is about an FBI raid on a Staten Island Target alleged robbery ring. There's a robbery ring in Staten Island? Oh yeah, we gotta hear this story. Play this story, cause when did that happen? Cause we in New York, I mean in New York, you hear about rings in like Brooklyn, the Bronx, but I mean Staten Island. Play it, hit that. Let's get it. Let's let AI take over. Hit it.
There was an FBI raid in Staten Island early Tuesday morning. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York said, FBI officials raided a house in Arden Heights in connection to a string of robberies that took place in Brooklyn and New Jersey between Jan. 20 and July 12, officials said. NJ bus monitor charged in 6-year-old student's death released from custody. Tony Clayton and Lawrence Dotson, both of whom have a history of committing violent robberies, were taken into custody for their alleged roles in at least 5 robberies. Officials said, the evidence is overwhelming, read a statement obtained by PIX 11 News. Video footage, license plate readers, cell phone location data, records from Harbor Freight Tools and U-Haul, and eyewitness testimony all connect them to the robberies. The defendants' histories of gun violence stretching back decades further helped establish their roles in each of the respected robberies. Officials said, according to officials, both Clayton and Dotson used guns and aggression when they robbed their victims. One robbery took place on Clinton Avenue in Staten Island on Jan. 20, officials said. Surveillance video shows a man wearing a white painting suit and gloves walking in and out of an apartment complex. The video then shows a resident entering the vestibule and the man in the painting suit closing the door behind them. The man in the painting suit then pointed a revolver at the victim and allegedly said, "Don't make this a homicide," and struck the victim in the head with a gun. According to court documents, a second robber took the victim's keys and tried to access his apartment. When he couldn't get inside, the robbers fled in a U-Haul truck. Officials said, on June 3, Clanton and Dotson allegedly robbed Annandale Smoke Shop in Staten Island, located less than a mile from Dotson's residence. Is it illegal to carry pepper spray in New York? The answer is complicated. The defendants, both wearing masks, approached a worker and each displayed a firearm. Officials said, the defendants then pushed the victim, tied up the clerk's hands using zip ties, and pressed a gun to the back of the victim's head. According to court documents, the defendants took $4,700 from the victim and $1,000 in cash from the store's register. Officials said, they also took cigarettes from behind the counter. Shortly after the Annandale Smoke Shop robbery, officials said Dotson's Mercedes-Benz was caught by a speed camera. A BMW registered to Clanton was also captured trailing Dotson's Mercedes-Benz. Officials said, NYPD records show that a speeding ticket was issued to Dotson's white Mercedes at that location around the time of the robbery. 3 weeks later, on June 24, at Glutton Place in Staten Island, the two men allegedly attempted to force their way into a home. They displayed firearms, but the victim was able to close the door and Clayton and Dotson fled in their respective vehicles. According to officials, on June 27, two men armed with guns impersonated FBI agents and attempted to rob a jewelry store owner at the victim's home in Edison, New Jersey. Court documents show. Video footage and license plate reader records show that Dotson's Mercedes and Clanton's BMW followed the jewelry store owner to his driveway. Per court documents, the two men allegedly approached the victim's car while wearing masks and bulletproof vests with letters that read, FBI. One of the men had a gun raised in his right hand and used it to knock on the passenger side window of the car and told him to get out. Officials said, it remains unclear what the robbers attempted to take from the jewelry store owner. Officials said, but video footage from Harbor Freight Tools recorded a few days earlier shows Clanton buying zip ties, which can be linked to the smoke shop robbery. On July 12, the defendants allegedly struck again. This time they targeted an owner of an ice cream store at the victim's home in Brooklyn. Officials said, Dotson and Clayton had visited the owner's ice cream store that same afternoon. Authorities said, they stole $6,700 in cash from the store and exchanged the cash for larger bills at a TD Bank branch in Brooklyn. According to court documents, if convicted, each man could face up to 20 years in prison.
Wow. Wow. But I want to say this. Wow. All right. Let me break it down. You know, they did on, what's this movie? Forget it. But this situation, we can see that, I would say this, these people, these individuals, they must have a history of doing this. And yes, they're gonna get that 20 years or better behind bars. They are definitely gonna get that 20 years or better behind bars because they have these guys linked to too many crimes. Can we give them the idiot bell? One more time. They gotta get the idiot bell. They are linked to too many crimes. And people, again, I always say this, and I'll keep on saying it into my dying day. These type of things are senseless. They senseless. But these type of people are career criminals. And when you're a career criminal, you gotta understand, when you do the do, you gotta pay at the end. You know what I mean? So if that's the lifestyle that you choose to live in, apparently, these people chose to live that lifestyle. So when you choose to live that lifestyle, you definitely, at some point, I'm sorry about that. Let me stop. Okay. At some point, you got to be but willing to deal with the consequences that you will probably end up in prison for a very long time. And these guys are going to end up in prison for a very long time. I didn't know this type of stuff was happening on Staten Island, because this is the type of stuff that happened in like I said, I'm in New York. This type of stuff that happened in Brooklyn, the Bronx. But to hear that sound like this, I mean, it's not out there to hear something like this happen on Staten Island, but to hear something like this of a large proportion, let's give a dab to the NYPD. Even though usually they get a boo from us, but let's just give them a dab for that. We're going to give them a dab for that in collusion with the FBI. Let's give the FBI a round of applause, because they were able to get these robbers and these drug dealers off the street. Now, I mean, they're selling like fentanyl and all this stuff like that. But if you're dealing in this type of crime, which they were dealing in, they wasn't only they were robbing people left and right. You know what I'm saying? And that's something different. Somebody, like, you gotta picture it. Okay? For those, my listeners, just picture it. Somebody coming home, working hard, cash their check, and then they get robbed at the end of the night. And in some cases, some of these people, they were beaten. Not to that point, but they were assaulted. So, I mean, think about that. Somebody working hard 9 to 5. If you one of my listeners and you out there, you working hard 9 to 5. Imagine somebody assaulting you when you coming home, and you working for your family and your children, or for whatever you doing. It don't have to be for that. It can be for whatever you doing. You be trying to buy a car, you know, just buy a car. But that's not funny. But just buy a car and somebody come out and then they do something like this to you. People, I said it before, I said it again, I'll say it again. I said it before and I'll say it again. Ladies and gentlemen, as a people, no matter what color or culture you come from, we have got to do better. We have got to do better as a people. And just as a people, we have got to do better. Things like this should not be happening. I'm not saying we're going to live in no utopia where no crime happened. I'm just saying things like this. I mean, come on, you don't have to rob nobody. Go out and work. Go out and get a job. Go out and get a job. Just like I'm on this platform, or whatever platform that you hear me on, and I'm talking to you. You know, it's a hobby, aka a job, but it's something to do. Go do something instead of robbing somebody and ending up in a situation like this where you're going to go to jail if or when you get caught. America, we got to do better. In every single way. We got to do better. Okay, listen, folks. That's my view and that's my opinion on that. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Do we have anything? Nothing, right? Okay, listen. I want to thank all my listeners for tuning in. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you are here with me, and I so appreciate that. Okay, also, stay blessed and not stressed. Okay, hit me up. Hit those subscriptions, those likes, and all those notifications and all that good stuff. If you want to spot an ad on my show, DM me and I will definitely respond. Okay. Thank you so much. Until next episode. Peace.